Imagine if you're with the porno lady, you're like, what about this? You like this? And she's like, yeah, my husband invented it. You're like, oh. Because you know how you think you got your own moves?
Yeah. Have you ever been with a porn star?
No, I never would do it because I wouldn't want to pull out my measly...
Wiener?
Yeah. Because like, what's she going to pretend? She's like, oh, ouch. You're like, what? What about that thing I saw you in last week with that?
Is this a good surprise for you guys or a weird surprise that Norm
I'm such a big fan of Norm's, man.
It's the first time you guys have met this morning, right?
Yeah. So
Jonah.
I'm so psyched. That's awesome.
When I knew you were coming in, I started thinking of the serious stuff, and I got to tell you about one thing. Superbad.
Yeah.
I'm 48 years old.
Yeah.
I go see Superbad, and the characters, your character and the other character, the main characters, are an amalgam of me and my best friend when we were in high school.
I hear that quite often.
I call the guy, and I go, you got to come to Austin. So he comes to Austin, and we go see it together, and just laughed our asses off because of that was us. That was us in high school.
Oh, that's
that
so
whole
nice.
thing. So huge fan on that front. Now
you look good for 48, man.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You got a guy who looks like Bruce Springsteen. You got a guy who looks like he's 25 and he's 48.
How old do you think he is?
Good-looking bunch around here.
How old do you think he is?
Good-looking city.
How old do you think Bob is?
I would say 34.
Try 53.
Yeah, well, that's how old Bruce Springsteen is.
No, he's 60.
Yeah, he's 60. Why'd you pick 30?
Damn.
I'm darkness on the edge of town.
It's like he looks like Wilford Brimley. How old? 20? 20-year-old Wilford Brimley?
4 or 5 years old?
You go way too much. What are you, 1
years old.
Now, Bob saw the movie last night.
Thank you for that compliment. I sincerely
Man, I'm telling you what,
Thank you.
that movie, and I said that's like, I don't buy, you rent movies. You don't buy. That's the one movie I've saved, and I watch it over and over.
That's cool, man. Thank you.
Bob saw the movie
chance
last
to go,
night,
man.
and
I loved it.
And before you come in here,
Oh, you saw Get Him to the Greek last night.
Yeah, we
was
would
there.
lie to you if it was.
I wouldn't have come. I would have called in sick today if it.
Well, no. We would have told our listeners what we thought of it, like the first hour when you guys weren't out.
And then we wouldn't have known.
We would have lied and kissed your ass when you came in here. But he said
I don't want to give anything away about it either, because there's so many surprises in that movie.
Off the air this morning, I said, seriously, how was the movie? And I've seen the trailer. The trailer's hilarious. And he goes, but a lot of times the trailer's hilarious and the movie sucks ass.
Right.
He goes,
I think our movie's better than our trailer.
He goes, dude, it was laugh out loud funny.
I hate people that you compare movies, say it's like this, but it's like it's all the best stuff you would expect from a Jonah Hill movie with a little bit of Spinal Tap mixed in, and it reminded me a little bit of Almost Famous, the sweetness,
awesome.
the sweet parts of that, because you play a character that's like
Nick literally pitched it to me as like a dirty Almost Famous.
You're teetering. you're one of those characters teetering on boyhood and manhood, right?
Yeah.
Like responsibilities versus being this kind of rock fan, and I loved it on that level too, of your character, of just being this guy that just doesn't know he wants to commit. He doesn't. He's facing all these things for the first time, but it's hysterical. You're going to see things in this movie that you've never seen on film before. I got to look at the rock star.
Dagwood?
No, the rock star, Aldous. Yeah, there's really not an equivalent in real life.
Sounds good, though. Is it in the theater?
There's really no single British.
Sorry, I wouldn't have had a chance.
There's not really any single solo British rock stars like that anymore. Are there? Is he
the closest
Bowie? But Bowie's old.
I feel like Jack White.
Oh yeah, Jack White. I mean, the closest we were thinking was but he's not like a bad boy, but like Chris Martin. Was kind of the closest equivalent,
But none of them behave like that.
No,
like in behavior, it's more just.
But it's more like taking a '70s, '60s rock star and putting him kind of in.
Pete Doherty. That's who it is. I mean, that's really who we and he's mega famous in England, obviously, and less so here.
So Nick, I'm IMDbing you, which is not a sexual term anymore, but you directed one of my favorite television shows that didn't make it, Undeclared.
I was a writer on that.
Oh, still. Yeah. What a great show. Were you on that show?
Was not, but a big fan of it.
Yeah, it was like a great. You knew it wasn't going to last because it was too good.
Well, we knew because we premiered on September 11th. So that's how we knew it wasn't going to last. Actually.
I didn't know that, really.
And Dale, you got to see that everybody's great in this film, but Sean Combs.
He steals it.
Oh, my God. He blows up in this movie.
He's so funny in it.
Unbelievable. And what you were doing the Q&A while the credits were, you started the Q&A while the credits were rolling. I know his face popped up at the end of the movie, and I missed it. Now I gotta go back and see what he said at the end.
It's a teaser for the Avengers.
Oh, okay.
For Thor.
Dude, you would love it.
Wait, so how old was Nick when he was directing Freaks and Geeks and Undeclared?
Or was
how old were you when you were writing for Undeclared?
For Undeclared, I was.
Well, Freaks and Geeks was first, right?
I know I didn't work on Freaks and Geeks.
Oh,
You were still in college.
You
Yeah, I was
directed.
still in college.
we withdraw the
So
question.
how were you when you directed?
I was 24 when I was writing on.
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So the story.
Like, remember when you were 24, what you thought was funny or good? You know what I mean? How hard it is to actually do good stuff when you're 24.
I remember Judd telling me what was funny and good.
I thought
he would just tell you and you did it?
Norm, I thought you were funny when I was 24.
Oh, no, you might think something's funny, but what you, like, I remember when I was starting comedy, I was like 25 or something like that. But Eddie Murphy was already a star, you know, and he was 19.
Yeah, 19.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was like, how can that guy be funny? Because I remember what I thought was funny when I was 19. It was all lame. Anyway.
On Undeclared, one of the writers was Seth Rogen. He was also obviously one of the stars of Undeclared, but he was 18. I remember him coming into the first writers meeting, and all of us being like, we obviously liked him on Freaks and Geeks, but he just being like, who does this kid think he is? And then he would just turn in the funniest scripts.
So, Jonah,
he just, knew it and nailed it.
You were
Wait,
right.
wasn't Byron Allen on that show too, though? Oh no, that's a different one.
You were right. You were right.
Wait, have you guys seen Comics Unleashed? Have you seen Comics Unleashed with Byron Allen? Hey, speaking of this thing, Byron Allen does this thing. You know how you guys do junkets, which is part of what you're kind of doing now?
Yeah.
But Byron Allen does this show where all he does is go on junkets. He goes to hotels, you know, and he interviews guys like everybody else does at the junkets, you know, because they bring the stars, like they bring Jonah and Nick in, and then 40 guys that ask him questions. So then Byron Allen just goes in, you know, and he interviews you, but then he turns it into a show, like it's an interview show instead of a. So he goes, and then it's always like. It shows at 1 o'clock in the morning. He goes, tonight on the it's Byron Allen's voice. He goes, tonight on the Entertainers, Jonah Hill, Harrison Ford, Eddie Murphy, George Harrison. It's like the biggest stars of all time.
So it's like a big talk show, but it's a junket.
And it's just him in like a small room, like with a guy with a poster behind him.
5 minutes
like
each,
2
right?
years ago that he did a movie. And then Byron, at the start of the interview, he goes, hey, man. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. He goes, he always starts the interview the same place, be like Harrison Ford, who clearly has no idea who Byron is. So Byron goes, hey, man, the last time we talked, man, you were doing that movie about the Russian guy. What's been going on with you, man? And so, like, you get in your head, maybe they have dinner together. And then so Harrison Ford, he goes, huh? But he doesn't want to look racist, you know? So he's like, oh, yeah, I remember. How have you been? He goes, pretty good, man, pretty good. So he's a master at it costs him nothing.
That's a really good practical joke.
Right. And Byron Allen is just one of 100 interviews he did that day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Jonah, you got started, if Wiki's right, you got started writing plays, and you went to New York to be an actor?
Yeah, I would write weird stuff in New York when I was like a freshman in college at New School University. And then I would perform them at this bar called Black and White, and then it kind of got popular.
One man plays, or
sometimes with other people, like one acts and
right.
stuff, and then like weird performance art.
And then
things.
somebody stumbles in and sees you, and
they got kind of popular amongst students at my school and NYU and stuff, and then it got kind of like a following. It was pretty cool. I remember like a couple of times I'd be like at dinner somewhere and someone would recognize me from it. And I would be so psyched because, like, they had just heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're like, "Hey, you're the guy that does those weird plays and stuff." And I was like, "Yeah."
What would be
yes,
like,
I am, Mom.
What would be a play? Like, what was your favorite one that was like your signature?
Well, they would do this open mic night. This is how it got started. Was basically they would do this open mic night. It was the only place that would let us drink because I didn't have a fake ID. So that they would let me drink there, and I was 18 and looked like I was like 12, you know. So, so my friend Michael took me there because he lived right around the corner, and the guys who owned the bar were really cool. And on Sunday night they had an open mic like storytelling night, so it'd be all like hipster East Village like junkies that would be like doing heroin on the A train, like not calling my dad, you know, like really serious stuff.
You don't have to say the second line. Not calling my dad.
Yeah.
Oh, we kind of surmised that.
Yeah. But yeah, very literal, like storytelling, like long stories. Yeah. And I was like, man, I should just write like a fake one.
Oh yeah.
So I started writing fake ones that